One of the questions I get asked most as I travel the country is, what fish do you fish for when there's no camera in the boat? The answer, crappie. I love to catch crappie. I heard somewhere that crappie fishermen live for the thump. That moment when that crappie sucks the bait in, you feel that tick on the end of your line, you set the hook, and he's on there. We're going to do that a lot on this week's episode from a fantastic crappie fishery. So glad you're with us this week. Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air right now.
Watching the only program with weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
Hi everyone, I am more than excited about this week's episode for a couple of reasons. First, I get to go fishing in a gorgeous place. Look at all this beautiful landscaping and greenery in the background. This is Cypress Bend Resort. It's located in far western Louisiana near the border on Toledo Bend Reservoir. More on Toledo Bend in just a moment, but I want to show you this place. Beautiful setting, great patio, restaurant, bar, lodge. Right back there are the hotel rooms. Got a great hotel, but if you love to play golf, here's one of the golf greens right here. This golf course runs down through the rolling hills there, and in the background is Toledo Bend. Toledo Bend Reservoir is the largest freshwater body of water in either Texas or Louisiana, and it's loaded. Here's the second reason I'm happy to be here with my favorite freshwater game fish. We're going fishing this week for the wily crappie. We're going to be joined in the boat by Dustin Meir, who guides for them every day here with Fish On Guide Service. He puts out a bunch of big brush piles. They attract the crappie in, and we're going to go whack a bunch of them this week and keep some for a fish fry. He's going to show you how to put out some brush piles as well if you'd like to do it on your local lake. While we're out doing that, we're taking you around your local region for this week's fishing reports from our expert team of insider reporters from lakes, rivers, and bays right where you live. They'll have this week's upcoming fishing report, both fresh and saltwater. The next time you see me, I'll be out there in Toledo Bend in my Nitro Z20 with Dustin Meir. We'll be catching crappie. Right now, let's get it started back at the studio with your weekend planner.
These Lunar tables are showing fair game fish activity this weekend. The best times to be on the water are in the middle of the night or during the afternoon, starting around 2:13 on Saturday and 2:48 on Sunday. Expect the sun to rise at 6:54 and set at 8:12. Night fishing should be great with the full moon this weekend. We're coming right back with fishing updates from around the area, plus I'll return with Major League Fishing angler and TV personality Mike Iaconelli. Stick with us.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Lew's. Feel the difference. Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland. The best in bass and crappie lures, heads to tails. Glacier Glove. Stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades. Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. Request our free 2019 fishing guide at orangebeach.com.
Is this the way y'all grow them at Toledo Bend?
That's a Toledo Bend special.
Man, look at the size of that bad boy. One.
Got him?
Yep, that's a good pull.
Fish on.
Going under the boat. Ooh, good crappie. Good crappie right there.
Good deal.
Look at that. All right, that's a way to get it started right there. Holy cow. Is this the way y'all grow them at Toledo Bend?
That's a Toledo Bend special.
Man, look at the size of that bad boy. All right, everybody, welcome back. We've made it out on the boat, and as promised, we're out on Toledo Bend, 100,000 surface acres, biggest lake in Texas or Louisiana, I believe. We're gonna do some crappie fishing today, and step down here, Dustin, if you can. Dustin Meir's with us today. He guides on this lake all the time. They're all his little buddies out here fishing, and we're gonna put this fish in the live well. We're keeping fish today, but Dustin, we're out here doing something today that is really common over here. This is brush pile fishing.
Correct.
And the principle of this is that you've sunk these brush piles yourself. Give us kind of the lay of the land of what we're doing and why we're doing it this way.
Okay. What we've done is come out here, we've cut trees, loaded them on down with the boats. We bring them out here with jugs on the top, anchors or weights in the bottom of them. We come out here and we're sinking them on points, bends in the rivers, the creeks, some out in the middle of the lake on a hump. They go to these brush piles for feed. They go out there for security, getting the shade, and they just start feeding up really well. And they'll be out here for all throughout the summer till the water starts getting cold again.
This is a very labor-intensive way to catch fish. These guys have to go cut all this brush and they come out and put it out here. You said you come out every 3 or 4 weeks and put new brush out?
About every 3 to 4 weeks, we'll have to come out here and redo these piles.
Wow. But man, does it ever pay off. They guide here, they do this all the time. They bring their customers, sit them right on top of these brush piles. And is that the size you catch?
That's an average size. We'll get some bigger ones, but that's an average one right there.
That is ridiculous. That's a big old fat black crappie right there. Well, that gives you a little bit of an idea of what we're going to be doing today. We've got the perfect day to do it. The sun's breaking out of the clouds.
Yeah.
You want the sun.
You do want the sun. It helps pull them close to the trees.
Drives them tight to the brush. So the brighter the day, the tighter those fish get into the brush and the more you can pinpoint them. We're going to talk about how you pinpoint them, how you locate the brush, where you put the brush piles, what they're made out of. All that kind of information's coming your way. So hang in there. This one goes in the live well and we're going to get back to fishing. Way to go, buddy. That's a good start, man.
Good deal.
Welcome to this week's Tennessee, Mississippi, and Alabama Fishing Report. We're glad to have you with us today. I want to take a second and talk to you about this week's report. The sponsor of it is Can Cooker. I've been telling you for the past month or so, go over to cancooker.com and check out the products they have. Not only do they have tons of cool things to help you prepare food, but the Can Cooker itself is just revolutionary. Easy, fast, convenient, tasty. Check them out. It will just change the way you prepare food. They're available online at better outdoor stores everywhere. Check them out at cancooker.com. Right now in this 3-state region that I'm reporting on, if I'm going fishing, I am going to spend a lot of time fishing topwater. We're on the front end of that summer transition where all the fish are starting to really transition to chasing bait fish. Your bass are going to be on a buzz bait and on a walking bait like a Strike King Sexy Dog. The other way to catch them is at night still. The night bite's still really good. It's really good on Smith Lake in Alabama. It's really good on Center Hill in Tennessee. In Mississippi, I'm going to Ross Barnett or Bay Springs. I'm going to throw a walking bait at Bay Springs, and I'm going to throw a buzz bait at Ross Barnett. Your crappie are going to start to migrate to those mid-range depth for brush piles and stake beds, and your catfish are still going to be trying to take advantage of current on the river drops. So go early, go late, stay safe. God bless you.
The bite. I got a bite. There's one. Pretty good fish. Yeah, there we go. And in the net he goes. All right, another one. Every one of these are just specimens. Look like they all got cut out of the same mold. There we go. Well, these suckers are just beautiful specimens. Hey, Dustin, we're gonna put this one. I'm so used to releasing fish, I about threw him back in the water. My cameraman Frank was gonna kick me in the lake. If someone has never put out brush piles before and they don't really know how to do it, what are a couple of quick little tips you could give folks?
You want to be in about 20 foot of water, so you'll go find you about a 10-foot tree, like sweet gums or willow trees, work really well. You want to have the leaves on the trees, so usually in the spring, as soon as leaves start getting on the trees, you cut them. You want to use a good heavy weight, something 60 pounds or so, for about a 10-foot tree. Tie the weight at the bottom, tie you an empty jug at the top of it so the tree will stand up, and you want to sink it down, on your points and ridges.
And then how do you mark it so you can come back? Put a waypoint on it?
We use everything with a waypoint. GPS it, get your waypoint so you'll be able to come back to it and not have to have a jug sitting out in the water.
How long do you have to wait after you put the brush out before fish will actually come to it?
They've got on it as far as 12 hours later, they'll get on the pile.
Really?
Yes, you can start catching them the next day. You let it sit overnight, go back the next day and check it.
Man, fantastic. And how many fish on a guide trip, how many fish can you catch off of one pile?
Usually we can catch up to 20, sometimes up to 30 fish on a pile.
Really?
You get a feeding frenzy turned on and they really start eating.
Wow, amazing. So this can be a very, very productive way to fish. If you've never done it before, you may want to give it a shot. All right, fat one right there. That's a good fat one. Look at the size of that dude right there, Dustin.
That's a pretty fish.
Yep. There's one. Oh, that's a good pull. Good pull. Good crappie. Look at this.
Good fish.
Got him shaking his head in there. All right. Big fat
Good
one right
one.
there. That's a good fat one. Welcome back, everybody. We are coming to you today from Toledo Bend Reservoir, and we are catching some beautiful fat slab crappie like that. Look at the size of that dude right there, Dustin.
That's a pretty fish.
Yep. Well, so to get you again oriented as to kind of how we're going about this, we're fishing these man-made brush piles that Dustin himself, by his own sweat, blood, sweat, and tears, cut and put out. And what we'll do is we'll just get out here in this open water and idle around until we see the brush. Then we're throwing a marker buoy out to just orient us. We're really not so much marking the brush pile, but we're just giving ourselves a reference point so that we can move around. And the key to doing this, we found today, is finding the high spot on the brush pile. Why is that critical?
As the sun comes up, they start bunching up in there, and they'll get up. They want to be in that nice water column, so they'll get up in there, and they get to the top of the tree, and they can see the bait coming across, so they come out of that tree to go ahead and feed. So they're always feeding up.
That's one critical thing too. Crappie feed up, and here's why. If you look at this crappie, his eyes are on top of his head. They always look up. So if you bring a bait underneath a crappie, he won't typically nose down to try to see it and feed. But if you bring it across the top of his face, that's when they move up and snap it and bite it. So you always want to fish above crappie, and we're actually then using our Lowrance HDS Live to actually pinpoint the high spot on the brush. Then we're locking ourselves down with the trolling motor with the anchor feature on the XI5 trolling motor. It holds us dead in a little circle right on top of the brush. Then we're dropping the jigs vertically straight down, stopping them just on top of the brush pile, and then slowly moving them up and down. And that seems to be what's catching them. Yep. Big old fat crappie, big black one right there. That's what we came to Toledo Bend to do right there. Five me one time, buddy.
Good job.
You're breaking out in a sweat, man.
Yeah,
it's getting hot out here.
today.
Great fishing for triple tail is underway, and the fish are getting bigger every week, it seems. I'll have all the details, but first, this from our good friends at Foreshore Transportation. Foreshore Transportation, the simple solution to all your freight hauling needs. Foreshore can ship freight across the country or across the state. Whatever the load, wherever the destination, Foreshore gets it done fast, safe, and hassle-free. Well, this has been a banner season for triple tail along the Alabama and Mississippi coast, especially in Alabama. Some of these fish are huge. I've got good friends there that say it's the best big triple tail season they've had in many years. Lots of fish, 15 to 18 pounds, or even been some 20-pounders caught in various tournaments. Most of these fish are caught around channel markers and buoys. Most anglers use a big live shrimp and a float. Sometimes they'll take flies and imitation shrimp like DOA shrimp or voodoo shrimp. In Mississippi, there's lots of triple tail, even more than in Alabama, but they tend to be smaller. They fish them pretty much the same ways. They want high sun and run and gun to find those fish. In southeast Georgia, Captain Jack McGowan out of Savannah says that trout and red fishing has been really good around the inshore sounds, oyster bars, and creek mouths. He says the flounder fishing has been exceptional. The last few years have been very good. Avoid the new and full moon strong tides in that area. Well, that's it for the southeast coast. Get out on the water and take a youngster with you when you go.
Buck Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Motor Guide's wireless and easy to use XI3. Waypoint Marine, the Gulf Coast's leading saltwater boating specialist. Strike King, Taiwan on. Nitro Performance Fishing Boats, because champions aren't born, they're made.
That feels like a good pull. Yep, that's a good pull. Jumper. Jumper. There's one. That feels like a good pull.
Oh yeah.
Yep, that's a good pull. Jumper. Jumper. There we go. All right. Hey everybody, we're still on Toledo Bend. Dustin Meir with us today. Fish on Guide service and fishing this brush piles and catching another black crappie, another nice one right there. So Dustin, if you want to book a guide trip with you, I know you've got a Facebook page, and
there's a Facebook page, Fish on TB, for Toledo Bend Guide Service. A lot of people book through the Facebook Messenger, or you can contact me. My number is 337-274-5577.
Okay, and Do you find that most times of the year, either fishing shallow fish or fishing brush, can you usually get folks a lot of fish to take home? And is it a productive enough lake where it's a very reliable day in and day out?
Yeah, it is. They'll stay on these piles till late October. They start to leave.
Okay, so there's your window of time if you want to do this brush pile fishing. Not only here, but where you live is typically after the spawn, May, June, right through the first good hard cold front where the water temperature really starts dropping. That's your brush pile window to catch good ones like that, including here at Toledo Bend.
Hey folks, it's my turn to share the Carolinas Report with you this week, and it's brought to you by Crazy Sister Marina. Located on the Marsh Walk in Merle's Inlet, we're the leader in water sports, and we have been for years. Anything you want to do, we got it right here. Visit crazysistermarina.com for more information. We can take care of everything you want to do. Eco tours, private charters, kayak rentals, or private boat rentals. That's all right here at Crazy Sister Marina. Tell you what, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff going on through South Carolina and North Carolina, but right now I want to touch on freshwater in South Carolina and the stripers in particular. My good friend Cephas McCrae of the Nuts and Bolts of Fishing took a buddy of mine fishing recently up on Lake Hartwell, and I tell you what, if you haven't learned the trick of the boat paddle or the gaff or the rod or whatever on your boat right now, it's incredible. If you're out fishing around any of these areas, that paddle makes a huge difference. It triggers something in those fish that reminds them of being in that hatchery. Beat on the bottom of that boat and watch those rods. Good live bait deep right now is a great bait. If you're up on Lake Murray, Jason Bennett tells me that the fish are biting really good early in the morning. He's catching them on those narrow, shallow areas that come up off of that 80 to 100 foot of water. He's catching them up there, chasing the bait. You can have a good time on your lake as well. This is your Carolinas Report brought to you by Crazy Sister Marina. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
Got him?
Yep.
Oops, around my line.
All right.
There we go. Oh, that's a decent fish.
Yeah.
Let me slip a net under him. There we go. And I'm gonna come around and get that out of the way. Okay. We are still catching them on Toledo Bend. There we go. And we're catching some nice ones like that. Dustin, let's talk about the tackle you use a little bit on these brush piles. I noticed that you're using little small, light jig heads. And a lot of people will use a big heavy jig head dropping down in these. What's your theory? What's your philosophy of using tiny little jig heads?
The smaller bait and that light weight, it'll just help it float along the top of the treetop. It doesn't fall in and get hung up as hard. Sometimes it'll just sit on top of the limbs and you can just lift it up and the fish react to that and they'll strike it a lot faster.
Yep. You got him?
Yep.
That a better one?
I believe so.
He's bending.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
a
crappie.
good fish.
There we go. All right. All right, we got another one on. A little bit of a strange thing at Toledo Bend in that the limit is not the same as it is anywhere in Louisiana or Texas for that matter, right?
Correct. They've changed just for Toledo Bend since it's bordered by both states. Louisiana has 50 fish throughout the state you're allowed to catch per person. Only on Toledo Bend is 25 fish. Texas was always 25, but you had to have a 10-inch fish or larger, and they've done away with the size. So it's 25 fish across the board, no size limit.
You can always watch our latest episode on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Catch up on past episodes and learn about fishing techniques and new gear at our how-to page. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for new fishing videos every day. Simply search for Fox Sports Outdoors and click the like button on Facebook and the follow button on Twitter. And watch a new episode every week on any device by downloading the free Waypoint TV app on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Mercury, Go Boldly, Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder, Balls Out, made in the USA, heavy-duty mounts for your fish finders.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's get right to your Ask the Pro question for this week. Dalton wants to know, do you have any tips on keeping knots out of my spinning reel? To get the answer, we checked with Major League Fishing angler Mike Iaconelli.
The first one is when you're actually spooling the line on. On a filler spool, most of them are just little round 300-yard spools. You always want the line coming off of that filler spool, coming off counterclockwise. because the spinning reel puts the line on clockwise. That's the first thing you want to do. Second thing is, I'm a big fan of some sort of silicone or line conditioner, and I'll spray that on a cloth, and as I'm bringing that line in, I let it run through that line conditioner. It takes a lot of the memory off of that.
Thank you, Mike. If you want some help from one of the pros, simply go to foxsportsoutdoors.com and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit a question. Now it's time to find out who wins this week's Big Catch of the Week.
Back at the boat ramp at Cypress Bend Resort at Toledo Bend, and it's time right now for this week's winner in the Big Catch of the Week contest. He's Patrick Dunn of Chatsworth, Georgia, showing a 23-pound striper he caught at Carter's Lake, Georgia. If you'd like to be our next winner, just go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/foxsportsoutdoors. Go to our last Tuesday post, and it's there you'll find all the information you'll need to submit your big fish photo and a chance to have it shown on television. Next up on the gear segment, I want to show you 3 pieces of gear that I use when I'm crappie fishing. First of all, we caught nearly all the fish today on a Bobby Garland baby shad. You see the color there, it's kind of a chartreuse and blue color, rigged on a Bobby Garland Moglo jig head. Secondly, you always see me wearing my Glacier gloves anytime you see me fishing out on the show. They're critical to helping me keep the sun, the UV rays that harm my skin, the water, and more importantly, the fish fins and fish gill plates from cutting my hands. They are absolutely fantastic. I wear them all the time, and you can check them out at the website address you see on your screen. And finally, I want to show you a little piece of gear that's super critical to all of the boats we use on the show. We use 3 different boats, and they all have the balls out brackets. They are the beefiest, sturdiest fish finder brackets on the market. You can see you can configure them in any way you'd like to. They come in lots of color combinations. They'll fit almost any piece of electronics that you can put on your boat. They'll take the pounding, the wind, the waves. The pros on the Pro Bass Tour use them, and I use them every time I'm out on the water. You can check out the balls out brackets, fish finder brackets, at the web address you see on your screen. I read something the other day that said, do what's right, not what's easy. Often those 2 things cannot be true at the same time. You have to choose one or the other. That can mean returning an item to the store, telling the truth, making a difficult phone call, or turning around to go back and help someone in need. Most of us have a built-in moral compass that tells us right from wrong. Doing the right thing, while not always rewarding right in the moment, later on brings a peace that's good for the soul. Maybe the most fun part of today's fishing was not what you saw on the show, but what happened in between the camera cuts. My buddy Frank, who runs the camera, got to fish a lot today. Between the 2 of us, he and I, we put together a 2-man 50 crappie limit. We got to take home a bunch of fillets. You can see a lot of these crappie laid out at the fish cleaning station. So, if you want to book a guide trip here, first of all, you can contact Dustin Meyer at the contact information you see on your screen. And if you want a great place to stay, Cypress Bend Resort is where we stayed on this trip. It is a gorgeous place, beautiful hotel, fantastic pool, great golf course, and the rooms overlook one of the greens of the golf course, great food at the restaurant, all the parking you need for your boat, everything you would need in one spot at Cypress Bend Resort. You can contact them for reservations at the information you see on your screen. I think you, and bring your family along, would enjoy a great trip here to Toledo Bend. Bring the entire family out. Dustin's got a pontoon boat. He can bring everybody out, and everybody can catch crappie. From Toledo Bend Reservoir on the Louisiana-Texas border, until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.